Dillon Gabriel a better Heisman favorite going into the season than Carson Beck, than Jalen Milroe, than Quinn Ewers, than Travis Hunter, than Shedeur Sanders? According to Vegas, yeah, that's it. He's got plus 750 odds to win the Heisman going into the preseason. And this is interesting because apparently in the betting market, the shift this early and or late in July, depending on how you want to look at July 4th, is interesting. It doesn't really happen that way because going into July, Dillon Gabriel had basically 14-1 odds to win the Heisman Trophy. And then over the last week, that has slowly tilted and gotten better for him. Now, what I think is interesting about this is that there are a lot of people that expect Oregon to be good, myself one of them, right? When we do the 134 project, you're going to see just how much I think of Oregon football going into this first season in Big Ten competition. And they're going to have Ohio State in Eugene, which can only help them in the college football playoff in ranking if they indeed were able to get a win, because we all expect Ohio State to be one of the better teams in all of college football. It's also Dan Lanning has done a tremendous job of not just building that Oregon program into the kind that we think can win a national championship, but also putting players together out of the transfer portal that contribute to doing just that. Dillon Gabriel is one. Another is Evan Stewart, a former 5-star out of Texas A&M that he's probably going to throw a bunch of passes to. And he's got Tez Johnson returning, Noah Whittington in that backfield. Still, Will Stein is going to allow for Dillon Gabriel to throw the ball all over the yard. And that is what Dillon Gabriel does best. He did that at Central Florida. He did it at Oklahoma. Last year at Oklahoma, 3,600 yards passing, like 30 TDs and 6 INTs. It's not bad, right? Really great win against Texas. But what I think is more interesting is just where Dillon Gabriel sits in the college football landscape and the offense that he's inheriting. So start with this. Bo Nix threw 4,145 yards, 40 TDs, and just 3 picks last year. Really great stuff. A Heisman caliber season. Dillon Gabriel, who we thought was a better quarterback before Bo Nix went, Super Saiyan blue last year, is going to be in that same offense that Will Stein is coordinating, and he's going to do it with a lot of experience. So check this out. As I was doing my research on Oregon and doing the 134, I came across what I thought was an extremely interesting statistic and a career stat that we're going to talk about, and probably the reason why I'm going to tout Oregon as another one of these programs that I think is great going in this 2024 season. So he has thrown for over 14,000 yards in his career, Dillon Gabriel. He ranks number 8 on the all-time passing list, career yards, right? 14,865 yards he's passed for. That means he's a spot behind Heisman winner, Ty Detmer, and 2 spots behind Bo Nix, who had 15,351 when he finished his career at Oregon. So realize this, after Nix threw for 4,100 yards, what we need from Dillon Gabriel is to do just a little bit better. And he will be able to challenge for the all-time leading passer record. Check this out. If Dillon Gabriel passes for 4,353 yards this season, he will be ahead of Houston quarterback Case Keenum, who right now ranks number 1 all-time in NCAA passing yards with 19,217. Now, COVID years, 6 years, being able to transfer, going from one great play caller and Josh Heupel to another, and Jeff Lebby to another, and Will Stein. All these things are working together for the guy that gets to wear Marcus Mariota's number and play at what I think is his dream school in Oregon going into his last year, and a year in which we expect him to be great. It's also interesting to note that even on top of all that, even on top of Dillon Gabriel having the best Heisman odds of any player in the country, he has the longest Heisman odds of any early preseason Heisman favorite that we have seen in some time, which means that the race is wide open. We don't know if it's going to be Carson Beck, though there are a lot of people that think it will be. I need to see who the hell else that Carson Beck is going to throw to, because the offense last year consisted of handing the ball to Daijun Edwards, Kenny McIntosh, and then Brock is open somewhere, I'll throw it to him, which is, by the way, a great strategy and the one that I would have employed. Jayden Daniels came out of nowhere to put together one of the greatest seasons that we've ever seen by a single player, and we hadn't seen Jayden Daniels show himself to be that caliber of player for the previous 4 years. Even so, I have a hard time believing that Jayden Daniels is going to be the guy in the NFL that he was the last year at LSU, right? But if you are all in on what Jayden Daniels is doing at LSU, you're all in on Mike Denbrock, who's at Notre Dame, which means you got to be all in on Riley Leonard, and I'm just not. But we'll find out for sure whether or not it's Mike Denbrock or whether Jaden Daniels had reached that upper level where his mind, body, and soul must be one. Okay? I would love to see if Dillon Gabriel can do that. Now, I think Jalen Milroe's probably going to get a little less attention than he probably should. Any guy that can get benched during the season is a guy that you call feast or famine, because Jalen Milroe got benched in the season. Jalen Milroe also beat Auburn on 4th and 31 and beat Georgia and made the college football playoff and fell 2 yards short of getting Alabama into the national title game and what turned out to be Nick Saban's final season as a head coach. Quinn Ewers got a loaded offense. Jonte Cook, CJ Baxter, Amari Niblack. I keep going. And you know what? Throughout the season, I will. And then Shedeur Sanders. I thought it was funny, man. I'm watching Get Up on ESPN, and it's Friday, it's July, but one of the lead segments was, can Shedeur Sanders lead Colorado to a great season without an offensive line? To which I'm going, absolutely not. What are we talking about here? Don't be stupid about this. What quarterback do you know can lead his program to an outstanding season if they can't protect the damn quarterback? Colorado gave up 56 sacks last year. Gave up 50 of Shedeur Sanders. Got the quarterback's back broken. We don't talk enough about this. His vertebrae was broken. We can't have that. That's not, Shedeur Sanders can't overcome an offensive line to go get him killed. Okay? That needs to change. It's one of the reasons that I have been going after Colorado and going, I don't feel as good about them this year as I did last year. Now, I think the program's in a much better spot, and I don't think there's any question about that, right? We know what Coach Prime has brought. But on the football field, I need to see something change. And I hear people in the comments on this YouTube videos and whatnot going, hey, RJ, underneath your segments, dog, do you do the research? Hell yeah, I do the research. What the hell you think I'm doing here? We got these Big Ten transfers in, they're starters. Starters at which Big Ten schools? Are they Ohio State? Are they Michigan? Are they Penn State? No? Then what are we talking about here? Okay? Just because you upgraded your offensive line doesn't mean that you upgraded it into the kind of thing that I think can win the Big 12 championship. You are welcome to prove me wrong, and I will be here if indeed you do. But don't just be throwing names at me like that's what makes a football team go. Come on now. This is sports talk. This is a sports talk show. This is not your daddy's Facebook channel, okay? Come with an argument. Bring me some facts. Let's have a discourse here. You're not dumb. I know that. You're watching the channel. However, I think if it does come together and the offensive line at Colorado is just serviceable, yeah, they'll be fun. Will they be the team to beat? I don't know. Oklahoma State is deep. Utah's great. Kansas State is good. Kansas is good. Iowa State could end up being a monster. Do you realize that in the 134, I think I might have 7 teams in the Big 12 in the top 25. Talk about depth. But we're going to get all into this, right? With the new Big 10, with the new SEC, with the new Big 12, with the new ACC. This is shaping up to be one of the most fun, if not the most fun college football season of my life. And quite literally transformative in the way that we talk about the sport. I'm having a great time. All right, that's going to do it for me. Stay low, keep those feet driving. Doses.